师。
请还没有报到的选手到外面签到哦，谢谢。
A very good afternoon to our respected guests, honorable judges, fellow principal, dedicated teachers, esteemed member of the media, proud parents, and our beloved students. On behalf of Capital Private Secondary School, it's my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the 45th National Chinese Independent High School Trilingual Speech Contest 2025, English for Senior category. This competition is a platform to inspire confidence and a love for public speaking. Every competition requires wisdom and fairness. Before the competition begins, it's my duty to introduce our panel of judges. They will fairly evaluate every performance by our contestant. Allow us to introduce our esteemed judges for today. Our first judge is Ms. Zhongwan Li. She is responsible for the international section. With 10 years of experience in the public speaking scenes, she has trained many students at both school and state levels. She has also served as the state technical official for public speaking from 2021 to 2024 and was recently appointed as the National Technical Official 2023. Beyond competitions, Ms. Wang Li actively supports low-performing schools through language training and workshop in collaboration with Yayasan Sultan Bahia. Our second judge is Ms. Krupi Kaur. She is responsible for the pronunciation section, head of English at SK Temanyo. With over 13 years of teaching experience, she wears many hats, from being the National Master Trainer for Climate Change Education to earning the FEE Global Teacher Award 2025 for her efforts in environment education. In 2024, she was also crowned the National Master Speller and imaged as first runner-up in the National English Public Speaking Competitions. Our third judge is Dr. Shahara Bintin Abdullah. She is responsible for the content section. A Guru Jamalang currently appointed as SISE Plus PPD Kulim Kedang. With 15 years of experience, she has participated in international programs such as the Fulbright Teaching Assistantship in the US and CMIL RELC training in Singapore. Dr. Shahara is also one of the co-founders of Media Education for All and believes strongly that great teachers help create great students. Our fourth judge is Mr. Lee Ye-ching. He is responsible for the style section, a dedicated lecturer with more than 15 years of teaching experience. Mr. Lee has a strong passion for English language education and student development. Over the years, he has served as a judge in various competitions, where his sharp insight and educational expertise help to bring out the best in every contestant. The chief judge for today's competition is Ms. Zhong Wan Li. We sincerely thank our judges for undertaking this important responsibility with integrity and dedication. Next, let us turn our attention to the rules of this competition. Each participant will be given 4 minutes to deliver their speech. Please note that audience applause is not counted as speaking time. The timekeeper will ring the bell once. 1 minute before the end, the bell will ring twice. When time is up, if a contestant exceeds the time limit, there will be a penalty of 0.5 points deducted for every 5 seconds exceeded. We kindly ask for everyone's cooperation to ensure the competition runs smoothly and fairly. Thank you. And now, let's begin the highlight of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is with great pleasure that I call upon contestant ES01 to take the stage with their speech titled, I Am Enough.
Sorry, may I know where the toilet is? Sorry, I just need to pass through. Do you always hear people around you saying this? Well, I was one of them. I started every sentence with sorry, even when I had done nothing wrong. One day, my teacher stopped me mid-sentence and asked, "Why are you sorry for everything?" She said, "You have the right to ask. You don't need to apologize just for existing." That moment made me pause. I realized how deeply I believe I was less than others. Good day, everyone. Let me share with you the journey of realization that I'm actually enough. I come from a small village, no huge shopping malls, just green fields and the sound of crickets at night. My parents were working in Singapore, and I lived with my grandparents. Therefore, my childhood experiences were mostly kite flying and catching fish in muddy streams. But when I entered secondary school in the city, I began to feel small. My classmates seemed like they came from another world. They spoke English like a TV host. They talked about piano exams, coding camps, and holidays overseas. Meanwhile, I was still trying to figure out how to pronounce Louis Vuitton. I said Louis Vuitton. When they didn't invite me into group work, I assumed it was because I wasn't good enough. But here's the truth. They were not judging me. I was judging myself. But then, something changed. My teacher gave us a conversation assignment. I wrote about my grandmother's chicken coop and how I used to collect eggs. Simple words, honest words. And then, something I never expected happened. My teacher read my essay aloud to the whole class. She said, this may be a village story, but it touched my heart. It is real. It is beautiful. That moment cracked something open inside me. I realized I didn't need to be like the others. I had my own voice, my own story, my own verb. So I stopped hiding. I spoke out. I volunteered to present in class, and today, here I am, taking part in public speaking. So I realized what we have doesn't limit who we can become. So don't ever look down on yourself just because of a background. Look at Marcus Burston, the creator of Minecraft. He didn't have a team or a studio, just an idea and a quiet determination. Now, millions play the game he built from his small apartment. What about us? We may be ordinary, but we have something powerful, the courage to grow. Dear friends, if you have ever felt like you are not good enough, please share this. You are not behind. You are just on a different journey. A flower does not bloom by rushing. It blooms by trusting the sun and reaching for it. So stand tall, even if you come from a small town or a quiet school. Because one day, the world will hear your voice and realize it is worth listening to. We are not late. We are not last. We are learning, growing, and becoming. And that is more than enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please welcome contestant ES02 with The Circle of Life.
Like this. Hakuna Matata. What's a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. A not passing craze. Are you familiar with these rhythms? Yes, it comes from the Lion King. It means no worries, but it also carries a deeper message. It's a reminder to live with courage, joy, and purpose. Today, I invite you to travel through time, not in a spaceship, but through the journey of life, and see how like every Disney hero fits into the great circle of life. Let's rewind the clock. Thousands of years ago, people lived in tribes. They had no internet, no electricity, just each other, nature and survival. Yet, they thrived through teamwork. Hunters shared their catch. Gatherers picked plants with care. Communication, simple fast gestures, drum beats, violin songs, and roll on the sounds that bound them together. And there's something powerful, respect for life. They live in balance with nature, never taking more than they need. Then, abracadabra! The first big leap, language. Our ancestors began drawing on cave walls, turning symbols into stories. Tales passed down from one generation to the next. And with stories came dreams, just like Moana declaring, "I'm Moana of Motunui." They found their voice, courage, and direction. Fast forward to today, our world is almost unrecognizable. We live with machines, satellites, and supercomputers in our pockets. We chat with someone across the globe in a second. But with all this progress, we've also created problems. Pollution, climate change, deforestation, and a dangerous distance with nature. So what now? Do we sit back and sing Hakuna Matata and hope for the best? No, we act. We can and must be the heroes of this chapter. Plant trees. They aren't just green decorations. They are life givers. Recycle. Every bottle saved is a step to save the planet. Reconnect, not just online, but with people, with nature, and with purpose. Let's mix the past wisdom with today's knowledge. The circle of life isn't just about birth and death. It's what we do in between. Simba stood on the scar for the bright lands. Today, we stand up for forests, oceans, and our future. So next time you hear Hakuna Matata, don't just smile. Remember your role. Live wisely, act boldly, protect what matters. That's how we make life not just magical, but meaningful. Thank you.
Next, please welcome contestant ES03 with Resilience Without Exhaustion, redefining success in a high-pressure world.
A few weeks ago, I burned out completely. It began with high hopes and big goals. I always believed that if I work hard enough, I'd make it. I wanted to get into a great university, so I pushed myself every single day. But suddenly, I couldn't. I lost my goal. All I wanted to do was to sleep, wake up, scroll forever. I stopped functioning. That is burnout. Ladies and gentlemen, judges, fellow speakers, we live in a world where success is often measured by how busy we are, how many hours we've worked, how little we've slept, how much we sacrificed. We mistook it as hardworking and perceive it as resilient. Throughout my journey, I realized burnout isn't because you're weak. It's because you've been strong for too long, without rest. In fact, we often think non-stopping means you're tough and hardworking. But the truth is, true strength is knowing when to pause. We are not a machine, trapped inside an endless loop of working and learning. It was until I realized what I needed was a true rest. I used to rush like a puppet to task and time. I became so numb. But resting gave me momentum back. I finally felt like myself. I got to breathe. No, resting is not our nemesis. It's how we recharge after being drained in such busy life. I came to realize burnout is a signal of me reaching my limit. I studied to midnight, then wake up early in the morning for school, then rush the task after school. I felt like I was in a horse race, yet I thought, no, I'm not going to stop till I reach my goal. My devastation taught me, if I don't stop, someday it will bounce back and force me to stop. This is burnout. Success is not just grades, trophies, or pushing past the pain. Do you remember the story, the hare and the tortoise? We were taught at a young age that the hare lost because of arrogance. What if the hare lost because it had a burnout? The tortoise won because it kept on going and did not stop, while the hare was forced to shut down at the final moment of the race. I reckon success is about sustainability. Let us redefine success. Notice how far we run, but how we can keep on going without breaking ourselves. After my burnout, I began with simple steps. I start by planning one small task a day, and I warm myself up, slowly but surely, moving towards my goal. We don't need to leap. Just begin, inch by inch, breath by breath. Suffering is never the prize for achievement, because would all of it matter if we sacrifice health instead? So, to all of you fighting battles, chasing dreams, and feeling the weight of high expectations, remember, you're allowed to rest, you're allowed to heal, and you can succeed without burning out. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please welcome contestant ES04 with "Being Fat is Not a Crime."
Good morning, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to share with you today my opinions on the topic. Being fat is not a crime. Nowadays, being fat is considered undesirable or, worse still, ugly. Leaders condemn it. People around us frown on it. The Ministry of Health said it is unhealthy. One campaign after another is launched to fight obesity. The media encode the same message. Fat is bad. Fat is objectionable. Don't become overweight over and over again. You hear people say over the radio, over TV. Cut down your weight. Go on a diet. The whole world seems to disapprove of fatness. Naturally, fat people feel guilty. They feel ostracized. They become the butt of jokes and feel happiness. Classmates, friends, neighbors, and aunts and uncles tease them, jeer at them, and label them fatties. They have to wear unfortunately being so big size. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to be considerate, sensitive, and sympathetic. Being fat is not what fat people want. I know some of them eat like a bird, yet they put on weight. It's just that their metabolic rate is naturally slower. That's all. So please, don't stare at them as if they are guarantees. They definitely are not. Ladies and gentlemen, fat people are definitely not bad looking. Look at all the babies. Don't they all chubby and round? They have fake lips and teeth and they look curly. And look at the puppies and some baby animals. They too are fat, round, and adorable. Are they? In the history of art, fat people have one been the subject and model for artists and painters. To the romantic impression of fatness is beautiful. Artists like Renoir,
Francisco Goya, Johann Friedrich Oberbrecht, and so on through and painters blonde ladies. So, to say that fat people are ugly is actually too not correct. I would say the propaganda against obesity have been successful in creating a ubiquitous prejudice against overweight people. Of course, whether a person or not is a subjective judgment. Look at an elephant or a hippopotamus. A glad at them will make you think they are overweight. Hey, my dear audience, they are just being sight by nature. So, people nowadays have been brainwashed to perceive fat people as lonesome or undesirable. The numerous campaigns against obesity, the slim models sushing on the catwalk, the slimming drugs advertised across the media or drummed into our minor fantasy that let us be worried of conditions to become prejudiced and tolerant. We must reconsider, reflect, and stop stereotyping people. It has quite a work, doesn't it? Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let me stress again that there is absolutely nothing wrong with being fat. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, contestant ES05 will share quarrels have no winners.
Good afternoon to the honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure today to present to you my speech on quarrels have no winners. Once, I read a story about a religious master who posed a question to his followers. Why do people shout when they quarrel? When the followers did not answer, the master answered, that's because their hearts are far apart. Therefore, we must bring their hearts closer and help them to listen to each other. It is like when people are in love, they just whisper because their hearts are near each other. We all know that when people quarrel, they lose their mind and cool. They bluff out at each other and their only intention is to be heard and not to listen. Some descend to the use of vulgarity while others use abusive language. All invariably shout as no one is listening. It makes no sense to scream. It is rather irrational and insane. Indeed, none are so deaf as those who quarrel. In a heated quarrel, the involved parties lose reason and objectivity, and so are incapable of normal reasoning. No solution can be arrived at in their war of words. The words, vicious and foul, will only deepen misunderstanding rather than bring understanding and compromise. Only in calmness and sanity can people listen and reach some understanding and compromise. Shouting and aggressiveness are improper ways to resolve issues. Accusations bring counter-accusations. Violence begets violence, whether verbal or physical. All are losers in a war or quarrel. If couples quarrel in front of their young kids, the emotional impact on them will be immense as both are their loved ones. And constant quarrel will fill them with insecurity and confusion. Their young minds will wonder, why people who claim to love each other utter hurting and cruel words? One may win a quarrel but lose a relationship. It is better to find out the truth matter than to win. In conclusion, quarreling is not a way to solve a problem in life. The desire to accept that one is right is the obstinacy of pride. Sensible people avoid the senseless of vicious ranting, cursing, or attacking. As a human being, it is demeaning, ugly, and degrading. In the spiritual realm, right or wrong, good or bad, will be decided by a higher law, or doers of good or evil will receive their right portion. We need not bicker and trouble ourselves in the least. Thank you.
Please welcome contestant ES07 with AI and your future, what every student should know.
Mic test.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, let's talk about something that is going to have a huge impact on your future. Artificial intelligence, or as most people call it, AI. Now, I know some of you hear AI and instantly picture robots taking over the world. Or that one time, your phone recommended socks or jeans after you mentioned it out loud once. Coincidence? Maybe. Creepy? Definitely. Useful? Also yes. But AI isn't just about something out of a sci-fi movie. It is already a part of your daily life. Every time you ask Siri a question, get a recommendation on Netflix, or scroll through TikTok and wonder how it knows you love dog videos at 2 a.m. It is AI doing its thing. AI is also helping your phone to guess what when you are typing, even when your tongues completely betray you. It even finishes your sentences sometimes, kind of like a really creepy best friend. But here's the thing, AI isn't just about convenience or entertainment. It is changing the world. It makes it. AI is helping doctors detect diseases earlier than ever. In education, it helps students to learn at their own pace, kind of like having a tutor that never sleeps or needs coffee. And in climate science, AI helps predict natural disasters and find a smarter way to fight climate change. So, what does all this mean for you? First, it means opportunity. AI is one of the fastest growing fields in the world, and it is not just for the computer nerds in dark rooms with 5 monitors. Whether you love cooking, art, music, business, or even gaming, it is a place for you in the AI revolution. You don't need to be a genius. What you do need is curiosity, creativity, and the guts to learn something new. But here's the flip side. With great powers comes great responsibility. Yes, I just quoted Spider-Man, and yes, it still applies. AI can be amazing, but it can also be biased or misused. If an AI is not trained or has limited data, it might make unfair decisions, like recommending a job to one person but not another based on gender or race. So that is why we need a person like you who won't just ask, what can AI do? But also, is this fair? Is this safe? Is this helping the world? Because AI isn't just about what machines can learn. It's about how we teach them, how we use them, and what values we pass along. So, here is my challenge to you. Don't just use AI. Understand it. Ask how it works. Think about how it can solve our problems in our community. The future of AI isn't just being built in the fancy labs by people with PhDs. It's also shaped in classrooms and in our heads. Thank you.
Thank you. Please welcome contestant ES08 with Meaning of Life.
Good afternoon to honorable judges, teachers, and friends. Today, I invite you to reflect on a question we often push aside. What is the meaning of life? Recently, I came across a story online. It was about a woman who, as a little girl, dreamed of becoming a dancer. She imagined toiling among flowers, moving with the rhythm of nature, fully immersed herself in the joy and beauty of life. But life happened. She grew up, got a stable job, and spent decades trapped in a 9-to-5 routine. 70 years later, after retiring, she sat in silence, regretful, not because the job was hard, but because she had betrayed her dreams and her 6-year-old self. She had stayed in a cubicle for a lifetime, never once dancing the way she had promised herself she would. That story shook me, because I, too, have something I've always held myself back from: running. Others describe it as freeing, like being a bird soaring out of a cage. But for me, it's torture. Running feels like punishment. Tight clothes clinging to my skin, sweat trickling down my face, and my breath escaping in chaotic bursts, while my legs scream in protest. I feel like an elephant in a circus, forced to obey, not to fly. And yet, that's exactly why I must run. One morning, on my way to school, I saw a few elderly people walking slowly along the basketball court, arms stretched out to keep their balance. That moment froze in time. I realized, right now, I can't run. I can't control my body. I can't embrace life physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Why waste it? Why wait until I'm 70 to wish I had done more, moved more, and lived more? Like a woman who never danced, I don't want to one day regret that I never ran. Not just on the track, but towards my goals, my freedom, and my future. We may all have different paces. Some sprint ahead, others jog slowly, and many, like me, drag their feet in resistance. But we must understand that progress is still progress. And because we're all unique, we must learn to run not in comparison to others, but in pursuit of what sets our souls on fire. Though, there's one thing I'll have to admit. I still don't love running, but I am willing to do it. Because when the wind rushes past my face and my heart races with life, I am reminded that I am capable, not just of running, but of creating my own path forward. That, to me, is the meaning of life. To honor your inner child, to move, even when it's hard, to live, not just to exist. Thank you.
Thank you. Please welcome contestant ES09 with Malaysian Art is Dying.
Mic test, mic test, mic test. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to begin with a question. How many of us appreciate the art around us? The paintings, the dances, the music that define Malaysia's vibrant culture? But today, I stand before you with a heavy heart, as I must speak about something many of us may not realize. Malaysia's art is slowly fading away. Art springs where words are unable to explain, says Matteo, a Brazilian designer. Today, I want to bring the decline of the arts in Malaysia. In a world that is ever changing, the value of artistic expression is diminishing. Once, Malaysia was a land where art was alive in every corner. From the intricate designs of batik to the rhythmic beats of gamelan and the graceful movements of traditional dances. But now, we see more focus on the rapidly advancing world of the technology and the digital age, leaving little room for the preservation and nurturing of our rich artistic heritage. How many times have you seen a local art exhibition, attended a traditional dance performance, or listened listen to live local music. Don't lie! How many of us still take the time to appreciate the craftsmanship of a hand-painted batik or the delicate brushstrokes of paintings that tell the stories of our history? The sad reality is that in our race to modernize, we have overlooked what is essential to our identity: our art. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, art is the voice of our culture. It holds the stories of our ancestors and reflects the soul of our nation. Yet, the younger generation is no longer interested in it. We have traded the vibrant colors of our rich artistic heritage for the grey monotony of mass production. Our traditional art are at the risk of being forgotten, relegated to museums or social media posts with little engagement from public. If this continues, we risk losing the very essence of what makes Malaysia, Malaysia. But it is not too late. The first step is acknowledging the issue and acting on it. We need to revive the spirit of Malaysian arts or support local artists. Whether it is through attending local arts exhibition, learning the history of our crafts, or simply encouraging the younger generation to pick up a paintbrush or try their hand at a traditional dance, we can make the difference. Art, in all its forms, is a reflection of who we are and where we come from. It is a language of the heart and the soul, a language that transcends time. So, I challenge all of us today, let's not let Malaysia's art die. Let's nurture it, celebrate it, and ensure it thrives for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Please welcome contestant ES10 with Saving the Earth with Confucian Values.
Good afternoon, respected judges, teachers, and my dear friends. Today, I stand before you to share a simple yet powerful idea, an idea that connects ancient wisdom with the modern crisis we face, saving the earth with Confucius' virtues. We live on a truly beautiful planet. The forests breathe life into the air. Rivers flow with crystal waters, and countless species call this planet home. But in our pursuit of progress, we have forgotten something. We have taken more than we have given. We have cut down forests, polluted the air, and filled the ocean with plastic. Climate change, deforestation, pollution. These aren't distant warnings. They are happening now, and they are threatening every living being on Earth. It feels overwhelming, doesn't it? But maybe the solution isn't just about technology or strict laws. Maybe, or just maybe, we can turn to the wisdom of the past. More than 2,500 years ago, Confucius, the great Chinese philosopher, taught values that still shine today. Values like kindness, respect, and responsibility. Confucius once said, if people led by laws and controlled by punishment, they will avoid punishment but lack a sense of shame. But if they are guided by virtue, they will not only feel shame but also become good. In other words, laws can force obedience, but only virtue can inspire true change, change that comes from the heart. Let's be honest, we already have many laws to protect our nature. Fines for littering, rules about emissions, regulation to save forests. Yet, the earth still suffers. Why? Because laws can control actions, but not hearts. Imagine this. Laws are like plastic decorations. They look good, but they are artificial and break easily. Virtue, however, is like planting a tree. It may grow slowly, but over time, its roots deepen, its branches stretch, and it provides shelter, shade, and life. Confucius also said, "The benevolent delight in mountains, the wise delight in waters. Mountains stand tall and unshakable like kindness and strength. Waters flow gently, yet shake the heart strong like wisdom and patience." Nature reflects these virtues, and when we live with these values, protecting the environment becomes natural, not forced. My friends, Confucius' teachings are not all saying to be forgotten. They are a guide today for all of us. If we practice kindness, respect, and responsibility, not only towards people, but towards the earth, we may not need constant reminders or punishment to do what's right. So, let's begin with ourselves. Let's plant the seeds of kindness, grow the roots of responsibility, and water them with wisdom. Together, we can create not only a greener planet, but a more compassionate, united world. And may we all walk the path of virtue for the sake of our planet and for the future we share. Thank you.
Please welcome contestant ES11 with the challenges teenagers face in a tech-savvy world.
Mic test, mic test, mic test, mic test, mic test. Good afternoon, honorable judges, teachers, and dear fellow participants. The topic of my speech today is the challenges teenagers face in the tech-savvy world. We are the first generation to grow up with smartphones in our hands. We live in a world that is always online, always connected, and always changing. Yes, technology has opened up amazing opportunities, access to knowledge, creativity, and global connection at our fingertips. But alongside these benefits, we face unique struggles that past generations never had to deal with. Let me start with a question. Have you ever felt anxious when you couldn't find your phone? Or stressed when a message went unanswered for too long? Technology was supposed to bring us closer, yet this constant pressure to stay connected has left many of us feeling overwhelmed. We're expected to reply instantly, to be available 24 hours a day, and to keep up with endless notifications. It's exhausting, and it's affecting our mental health. Now let's talk about social media, a world where everyone seems to be living their best life. We scroll through perfect pictures, glamorous vacations, and flawless selfies. But we don't see the struggles, the failures, or the real emotions behind those posts. We compare ourselves to these carefully edited highlights, and that's where self-doubt, anxiety, and insecurity begin to grow. We feel like we're not enough, even though what we are seeing isn't fully real. Another silent challenge we face is our shrinking attention span. With endless scrolling and non-stop content, our minds are trained to jump from one thing to another. When was the last time you read a book without checking your phone? It is getting harder to focus, not just on schoolwork, but even on conversations, relationships, and our own thoughts. This constant digital stimulation is changing how we think, how we feel, and how we connect with the world around us. And then there's the darker side of the digital world. Cyberbullying, online shaming, the pressure to always be perfect. What started as fun platforms for connection can turn into spaces of cruelty, online drama. It is a very real battle with mental health. But in the middle of all this, there is hope. The first step to change is awareness. We have the power to take back control, to set boundaries, to focus on real-life connection, and to remember that our worth isn't measured in likes or followers. We can choose to use technology as a tool instead of becoming a tool of technology. So, as we move forward in this tech-driven world, let's remember this. Look up from your screen. Talk to someone face to face. Give yourself permission to be imperfectly human. The future belongs not to those who are glued to their screens, but to those who can harness technology without being consumed by it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please welcome contestant ES13 with white jelly lightings.
Mic test, mic test. Good day, everyone. There are many wonderful education topics surrounding issues such as experiencing burnout, being fat is not a crime, or even the impact of AI to our life. And yes, I'm here to share with you yet another big topic. Are you ready? It's tofu. Yes, tofu. I am serious. It is the My life seems to be as tasteless as tofu. I wake up every day, I go to school, I study and I sleep, and I repeat this cycle again and again and again with no exception. My personality seems to be as uninteresting as tofu. I'm not an extrovert and I do not have a lot of humor to attract friends. I as a whole seems like a slab of tofu, without good physique, good grades nor good skills, and never catch the attention. How could I be like tofu? This question surrounds me whenever I see tofu in my dish. Until one day, I finally got the courage to ask my mom the question. Mom, why did you love tofu so much that you have to cook it so often? My mom told me tenderly, tofu makes amazing dishes. When it mixes with different ingredients, these white jelly-like cubes absorb flavors and becomes what it had to be at the moment. Tofu do not take dominance, yet it finds its own place in every dishes. Its ordinary characteristics resembles how we do in life. Yes, exactly, just like how we navigate in life. In a world that glorifies fame, power, and wealth, we often overlook the strength of ourselves. Tofu reminded us a different kind of power, the strength of being ordinary. Now, finally, to those of you who think that you are tofu, just like me, remember, we don't have to be extraordinary. We just have to be who we are. Because life do not thrive by force, but by harmony. Not by resisting, but by adjusting. No matter if you're mapo tofu, stir-fry tofu, or miso tofu, no matter what life throws to you, remember, just be like
to venture into the universe, transporting us to the worlds that consist of adventure, mystery, romance, and discovery. Through books, the greatest minds of history speak to us. Reading is not just informative, it is transformative. It stimulates creativity, enriches our souls, and allows us to experience emotions beyond our own lives. Have you ever read a book that is so engaging that it makes you laugh and cry? This is the magic of reading. It allows us to live 1,000 lives in a single lifetime. Studies show that avid readers think more critically, write more eloquently, and are more adaptable in an ever-changing world. For children, the habit of reading from a young age lays the foundation for academic and personal success. So my friends, the next time you have a free moment, stop scrolling through your phone or binge watching another series. Instead, pick up a book. Let the words take you on an unforgettable journey. Let them ignite your imagination and enrich your life. Ladies and gentlemen, reading empowers you. Let's act on it today. Thank you.
Thank you. Please welcome contestant ES15 with better lighter than never.
Mic test. Mic test. late than never. That's a phrase I've heard many times, but I've come to realize just how true it is. Good afternoon, judges, teachers, and friends. When I was growing up, I frequently bumped over my use of the English language. I clearly remember an incident when I was young. I mixed up the word soup and soap. One day in class, I stated that I wanted to eat soap. Immediately, everyone burst out laughing. I was so embarrassed. I don't understand what was so funny. They seemed unable to stop laughing. It was one of those moments that I realized just how bad my English was. That mistake really stuck with me. Last year, I had a chance to participate in an international program that required me to speak English. It was a huge opportunity, but I was terrified. In my opinion, I'm 16 years old and could be too old to learn. However, my parents constantly encourage and motivate me. They keep saying, "Oh, my dear, it's never too late to learn. You can learn anything if you have the will to do so." And so, I decided to take part. At first, I was nervous, but I tried to overcome it. I downloaded the Duolingo application to practice my English language skills. I also started reading English novels and watching English movies. But the biggest challenge that I faced was writing a script for this competition. It was tough, but I knew that I can do it. Even though I made many mistakes, I knew that it was part of the process. Along the way, my teachers and parents were there to support me. They encouraged me to continue whenever I doubted myself. Without the support, I might have given up. They reminded me that learning from one's mistakes is one of the best ways to grow. Every mistake teaches us a lesson. Every setback was just another chance to reflect, learn, and keep moving forward. The biggest hurt that I had was my fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. We all experience fear, especially when it comes to trying something new. Everyone feels fear, even the most successful people. It's about acknowledging that fear and pushing past it. When I pushed myself to write this script and participate in this competition, I was breaking free from that fear. It was difficult, but it gave me the courage to keep learning. I feel more confident in speaking English now. I've learned to see success as a journey and not a destination. And along this journey, there will always be opportunities to learn and improve, no matter when we start. So yes, I may not be the best in English right now, but it doesn't mean that I can't keep improving. It's never too late to learn. It's better late than never. And I'm ready to take on whatever comes next, because I know that each step forward counts. Thank you.
Thank you. Please welcome contestant ES16 with Behind Every Chuckle, a Kill.
Good afternoon, honorable judges, teachers, and fellow participants. Today, I want to talk about something incredibly important. Not incentives, not how to score straight A's, not even how to survive group work with that one friend who disappears the moment the project starts. I'm talking about laughter. Yes, you heard it right. That magical moment when you and your friends start laughing so hard that nothing. The teacher walks by and suddenly everyone becomes professional actors. Let's be honest, students' life in Malaysia, it's an Olympic level obstacle course. Wake up before the sun just so you don't bump into a traffic jam. Carry a bag heavier than your future. credit survive maths, moral, PE, all in one day. Recess is 20 minutes. But it takes 19 just to line up for the mark, and then right after lunch, Sujam. Which is wild, because I can't even remember how much I spent on the Nasilemak and Milo. And you're now asking me who's Tunku Abdul Rahman? What's worse, when the teacher brings a pile of paper and gives us a pop quiz. Pop quiz? I said I wasn't gonna lose my head, but then pop goes my heart. But here's the thing. What saves us? Laughter, jokes, and memes. Laughter has this remarkable way of shifting our perspective. It doesn't erase our problems, but it makes them seem more manageable. When we laugh, we're choosing to zoom out and see the bigger picture, often one filled with hope. Laughter brings us together. Whether you're from Peninsula, Sabah, Sarawak, or the school block next door, we all laugh the same when the roti canai flies off the table, or the moment someone slips in the soup and tries to turn it into a dance move. We're all united. Laughter transforms pressure into connections. It heals, it helps, it holds us together. And the benefits are just emotional. Laughter quite literally gives our body a boost. It lowers harmful stress hormones and increases antibodies that fight illness. So, yes, laughter may actually help you dodge that dreaded flu bug. Before I wrap up, let me read the words of Marie Williamson. In every nation, there is work to be done. In every community, there are wounds to heal. In every heart, there is the power to do it. I believe that love, simple, silly, spontaneous love, is one of the purest form of that healing power. Behind every chuckle, a cure. Laughter is the best medicine, and the best part, it's free, no price tag needed. So, next time you hear someone laugh, take a moment and join in, because in that sound lies healing, unity, and a reminder that life, no matter how complicated, is still beautiful. Thank you.
Next contestant is ES17 will deliver. Stop saying I am fine. It's okay not to be okay.
Good afternoon to the honorable judges, teachers, and my fellow friends.
Have you ever said, I'm fine, even when you are not?
I have, more times than I can count.
For a long time, I believed that admitting I was struggling would be seen as weakness.
People might treat me differently if they knew.
As a result, I became quite skilled at pretending.
I would smile when I felt like crying.
I would laugh when my heart felt heavy.
And I would say, I'm fine,
As though it were my secret armor.
However, the truth is,
The armor became a burden.
the longer I wore it, the more I sweat that I felt.
The truth was, I was not fine.
I was tired, I was anxious, caring far too much,
And unsure of how to ask for help.
In Malaysia, conversations about mental health are slowly becoming more open. But there is still a stigma. According to the 2019 National Health and Morbidity Survey, 1 in 5 adolescents in Malaysia report feeling depressed. Yet, many of them never receive the help they need, often due to fear, shame, or lack of access to support. These figures remind us that we are not alone. And what I've come to realize and wish to share today is this: it is okay not to be okay. And more than that, it is okay to say so out loud. We live in a culture that encourages us to appear strong, to keep problems to ourselves, to carry on as though everything is fine. However, the reality is that even those who seem to have everything together may be struggling inside. Speaking up is vital because silence does not heal pain, but connection does. Each of us carries an invisible burden. Stress, worry, self-doubt, or difficulties at home. We say, "I'm fine," to conceal it. But what if we no longer felt the need to hide? What if both school and home could be places where one could say, "I'm struggling," and not feel ashamed? Let us stop concealing how we feel. Let us begin to check in with one another. Not merely, "How are you?" but really, "How are you?" If you are not okay, please remember this. You are not weak, you are not broken, and you are certainly not alone. And it is brave to ask for help. Let us be courageous enough to speak with honesty. Let us make kindness louder than silence. Let us make "I'm here for you" not something we say, but something we truly mean. Thank you.
Please welcome contestant ES18 who will speak on From Zero to Hero.
Good afternoon to the honorable judges, teachers, and my friends. The title of my speech is From Zero to Hero. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that you have a superpower? No, you can't fly, but you have something even more powerful. It's invisible, priceless, and already inside you. It's the power you didn't know you had. We live in a world obsessed with things we can see and measure. People talk about how many supporters you have or your exam scores, but here's the truth. The most precious things in life can't be measured. Your strength, your courage, your dreams. And these are the real superpowers, and no one can take them away from you. Let's be real. Life isn't always easy. Sometimes it feels like everything is going wrong. Maybe you had failed a test. But guess what? You are stronger than you think. That power within you, it's the voice that says, "Don't give up." When nothing seems to go right, it's what pushes you to try again even when the world says you can't. I've had my own little moment. There was a time I felt completely lost. I had taken part in a speech competition, something I really wanted to do. As the moment came closer, the more I doubted
doubted myself. I kept thinking, am I not smart enough? Am I not confident? Perhaps it is better if I pull out. I questioned everything, my ability and my voice, but somewhere deep inside, a soft voice whispered, just try, one more time. So I did. I practiced, I rewrote my speech again, and when the moment came, I was nervous when I stood in front of the audience. It wasn't perfect because I made mistakes. But I didn't quit. Every time I overcame the fear, I became a little stronger. From this experience, I learned resilience. Even when the world is silent and no one's clapping, you clap for yourself. Remember, you don't need permission or perfection. All you need is the fire to keep going. Because that's when the zero becomes the hero. Thank you.
Contestant ES19 will now present When the Robins Choose Love.
Imagine this. A little girl holds her mother's hand tightly as the sky above her turns orange. Not from a sunset, but from an inferno. A boy no older than us cowering in a basement. Not from a game, but from bombs. Now imagine this. That same girl sitting in the classroom laughing with her friends. That same boy playing football under the gentle radiance of the sun. What changed? Not magic. Not luck. Just one thing. Peace. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I want to talk about something many of us have but may have taken for granted. Love and peace. Right now, in places like Ukraine and Gaza, war is destroying lives. Buildings collapse, families are torn apart, children grow up too fast, too afraid. And all of it because of fear, hatred, and a failure to understand. But even in a world like this, I believe love is still stronger. Love isn't a soft, feeble word. It's a choice. It means seeing people as human beings, not as enemies, not as problems. It's about being kind even when we're angry and holding on to compassion even when we're tired. Love is what reminds us that behind every opinion, every face, every struggle, there is a life that matters. And when we choose love, not just for those we know, but even for those we don't, something else begins to grow. Peace. Peace isn't just about the absence of fighting and conflict. It's safety, trust, and space to grow. Most importantly, peace allows hope to return, not just to countries, but to families, classrooms, and hearts. It's not something distant or impossible. It starts right here, with how we treat one another. Some people may say, but we're just students, what can we do? The answer is a lot. Peace begins begins in small places. When we stop bullying, when we include each other, when we speak up for what's right, we are building a more peaceful world, one small act at a time. We don't have to be famous to make changes. We just have to care. Allow me to end with the words of Martin Luther King Jr. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So let us be the light when the world is dark, the voice when others stay silent, the hands that heal, not hurt. Because even when the world is burning, love is not weak, it is brave. Peace is not passive, it is powerful. And we, no matter how young, are not helpless. We are the beginning of change. Thank you.
Now contestant ES20 with the social problem that teenagers are facing in today's world.
My test. A very good afternoon to respected judges, teachers, and all my fellow friends. Today, I would like to talk about a topic that concerns many teachers, parents, and communities. The social problem that teenagers facing in today's world. Teenagers today are growing up in a very different environment compared to the past. The world is more connected even through the social media. Yet, many teenagers feel more isolated and anxious. One major issue is peer pressure, especially on social media platforms. Teenagers often compare themselves to others, especially trying to live up on unrealistic standard of beauty, lifestyle, and success. This constant pressure can lead to low self-esteem, depression, and even self-harm. Another serious problem is bullying, which has now extended into the digital world as cyberbullying. Do you know that? Hurtful comments or photos shared online can go viral in seconds, causing emotional damage. Many teenagers suffer in silence because they are afraid or ashamed to speak up. We also cannot ignore the rise in substance abuse. Some teens turn to drugs, alcohol, or vaping as a way to escape from stress, family problems, or academic pressure. Instead of seeking help, they fall into bad habits that are hard to break and harmful to their future. Family problems are another factor. Not all teenagers have strong support at home. Some come from broken families or facing neglect or emotional distance, leaving them feeling lost and unimportant. So, what can we do? First, we need to create a safe space for teenagers to talk openly without fears of judgment. Teachers, parents, and friends should listen with empathy. Second, we must educate our youth on how to deal with stress, build confidence, and make wise choices. Lastly, we should all work together to raise awareness and offer support through school programs and community efforts. Teenagers are the future of our world. Let's give them the care, guidance, and support they need to face these challenges and grow into a healthy, strong, and confident adults. Thank you.
We will now have 5 minutes short break and we'll continue our competition at 3:41 p.m. Thank you.
Check 1, 2. Track 1, 2.
Contestant ES21 was shared what she said.
Let me tell you a story that still lives inside me. It's about a girl I used to call my best friend. Let's call her T. We were close, FaceTiming at 1 a.m., talking about life, boys, our futures. She knew things no one else did. Like how insecure I was about my voice. I hated how soft it sounded, how it sometimes trembled. I told her once. She laughed and said, "Well, that's what makes you, you." I believed her because I trusted her. And then one day it all cracked. Another girl came up to me and said, "Hey, I really don't want to say this, but T's been talking about you, like, lots." My stomach dropped. She said I thought I was better than everyone, that I acted confident but was desperate for attention, that I made my voice sound immature, and it was obvious that I was trying too hard. I froze because she knew those were my deepest insecurities, and that's what she chose to tear apart behind my back. Suddenly, everything made sense. The weird silences, the small comments like, "You like to dress up, huh?" The way she started talking to others more and me less. I didn't confront her. I couldn't. Because how? How do you face someone who have decided you are a joke? So I stayed quiet and let it eat me alive. I talked less, smiled less, stopped dressing the way I loved. I thought, maybe she was right. And do you know what hurts the most? Not just the betrayal, but the silence after. The ache of knowing they will never apologize because they don't even think they did anything wrong. But somehow I made it out. Not because I got over it, but because I learned the difference between people who love me and people who only love me when I'm small. Real love, it doesn't twist your softness into something pathetic. It checks in, talks to you, not about you. I learned that real love is gentle, even when it's honest. And that I don't owe loyalty to people who treat my vulnerability like a game. That broken, scared version of me, she's still there. But now, she stands beside someone stronger, someone who knows her worth. Because if someone only values you when you are quiet and agreeable, that's not love. That's control. So if you've ever been hurt by someone you would do anything for, you're not alone. And that pain, it doesn't define you. It shapes you. It shapes you into someone who chooses better next time. I still think about her sometimes. Well, maybe she'll get it someday, but I'm not angry anymore. Because what she did taught me to love myself without asking for any permission. In the end, what broke me built me. With this, I thank you.
Next contestant, ES22 with Dare to Speak, Dare to Lead.
Mic test, mic test. Good afternoon to everyone. I am here today to enlighten you with the topic of Dare to Speak, Dare to Lead. I would like to share with you on something that shapes our lives, our communities, and our future. The power of speaking up and the courage to lead. Too often, we hold back our thoughts, silence our ideas, and wait for someone else to take the lead. But the truth is, every great change begins with a voice. That is, your voice. We live in a world where voices matter. Every movement, every innovation, every change began with someone who dared to speak up. But speaking up is not always easy. Fear, doubt, and uncertainty often hold us back. What if no one listens? What if I fail? What if I'm wrong? These questions run through our minds, keeping us silent. History has shown us that great leaders are not just those with authority or titles. They are the ones who speak up when it matters. Those who challenge injustice, inspire changes, and empower others. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke of a dream, even when his voice was met with resistance. Malala Yousafzai spoke of education for all, even when others tried to silence her. Nelson Mandela spoke of freedom, even when it cost him years behind bars. You may not be fighting for civil rights or leading a revolution, but your voice still matters. Whether it is speaking up in the classroom, standing up for a friend, or sharing an idea in a meeting. Your words have the power to influence, inspire, and ignite action. Leadership is not about titles or positions. It is about taking responsibility, inspiring others, and making a difference, no matter how small. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room to be a leader. Some of the most impactful leaders lead with quiet strength, leading by example rather than words. Real leadership is about integrity, courage, and vision. It is about standing up for what's right, even when it is unpopular. It is about listening, learning, and empowering others. And most importantly, it is about taking action. So I ask you today, what will you speak up for? What change will you lead? The world doesn't just need more followers. It needs more voices, more courage, and more leaders willing to stand
cannot fool what's right. Dare to speak, dare to lead, because the future belongs to those who do. Thank you.
Please welcome contestant ES23 who will deliver the benefits of a student exchange program.
My test. A very good afternoon to the honorable panel of judges, respected teachers, and fellow students. Today, I am honored to deliver a speech regarding the benefits of student exchange program. So, what is a student exchange program? Well, it is one of the golden opportunity for students to savor the beauty of a foreign country as a visitor and at the same time experience life as a student there. One of the major advantages is that you will be one of the major advantages is joining your one of the major advantages of joining your circle of friendship. You are able to build long-lasting friendship from different parts of the world as you have been staying there for a lengthy period. And on top of that, living with a foster family also enhances your appreciation of home and the family unit. In addition, being away from home will make you more independent. You will need to make decisions independently and learn to be resourceful in managing problems and challenges. And I believe that after you return home, you will be more confident and independent. In a nutshell, furthermore, a student exchange program helps improve your communication skill. When you are in a forest environment, you may need to speak in a second or even third language. This not only sharpens your language ability, but also builds your courage to speak out and express your thoughts clearly, even in unfamiliar situations. In a nutshell, it is for all these reasons
for you. Back to you, Contest Chan.
Now contestant ES25 with road safety.
My test. Have you ever stepped onto the road and felt uneasy? Every day, we are not just surrounded by people, we are also surrounded by roads. Roads we walk on right along and cross. And on these roads, danger is always nearby. Cars speeding, motorcycles weaving, pedestrians rushing without looking. Maybe you have seen it. Maybe you feel scared when someone you love drives recklessly. A very good afternoon to the honorable judges, MCs, timekeeper, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to talk about something we don't speak out loud enough. Road safety and how we can face this danger with awareness and responsibility. Every year, thousands of lives are lost on our roads. In 2023 alone, Malaysia recorded over 6,300 road accident deaths. This about 70 people are dying every single day. These are not just the numbers, they are fathers, mothers, children, and friends. But many of these accidents could have been prevented with simple care and responsibility. Just recently, a tragic accident involving UPSI students reminded us how dangerous reckless driving can be. A driver crashed into a group of students returning to campus, killing 50 and seriously injuring others. This heartbreaking incident reminds us that one person's carelessness can destroy many lives. As students, we may not drive yet, but we use the roads every day. Walking, cycling, or riding with our family. We must always use pedestrian crossings. Wait for the green light. Look both ways before crossing. If you are riding a bicycle or motorcycle, always wear a helmet. It can save your life. One day, we will be drivers too. Remember, fasten your seatbelt, follow speed limits, and never use your phones while driving. Roads are not racing tracks. Speeding may thrill for a second, but it can cause a lifetime of regret. If you see someone about to drive after drinking, stop them. You might be saving lives. We must also remind our family and friends to follow traffic rules. If someone drives dangerously, we should speak up, because silence can cost lives. Let us change our mindset from careless to careful, from reckless to responsible. My dear friends, road safety is not a choice. It is our responsibility. If we ignore it, then we risk our lives and the lives of others. Let's stand together, stay alert, and make our roads safer for everyone. Thank you.
Contestant ES26 Road share. Every small action counts.
Good day, everyone. Let's start with a quick show of hands. Who here loves our beautiful planet? Oh, wonderful. Our love for the planet is what brings us together today. Now, let's talk about something that's not so beautiful. Plastic waste. Did you know that every minute a droplet of plastic enters our oceans? That's about 8 million tons each year. That's a staggering amount, isn't it? An alarming forecast warns that by 2050, there could be more plastic in the ocean than fish. This is not just a statistic, it's a crisis that affects us all. According to UNESCO, over 1 million marine animals, mammals, fish, turtles, and birds are killed each year due to the plastic debris. Just imagine if a sea turtle mistakes a plastic bag for a jellyfish, or if seabirds feed their chicks plastic instead of nutritious food. The consequences are truly heartbreaking. Last year, a 10-meter-long whale carcass was found near the Trisol Bridge in Sibuya, Sarawak. Earlier this year, a decomposed whale carcass was found washed ashore at Pantai Kampung Sungai Miang in Bukit. These incidents heightened the environmental awareness. These incidents, tragic incidents, underscore the serious impact of plastic pollution on marine life and the urgent need to protect our oceans. A few years ago, I took part in a beach cleanup organized by the local community. I expected to find the usual trash, old bottles and cigarette butts. However, I was shocked by the sheer volume of plastic waste. As we filled bag after bag, I realized that my small habits are a significant contribution. The plastic items I had carelessly discarded could take hundreds of years to decompose, harming marine life and polluting our planet. So, what can we do about it? Simple actions like using reusable bags and bottles, recycle properly, and choose more sustainable options. If we all make these small changes, we can have a huge impact on our oceans and our planet. In closing, the fight against plastic waste starts with us. Every small action counts. Let's work together to reduce plastic pollution and protect our oceans and our planet for future generations. Thank you.
Next contestant, ES27, will deliver a Manglish, a unique linguistic marvel of Malaysia.
My test.
Have you ever spoken to a Malaysian in English and found yourself completely lost? You thought you recognized the word, but somehow the entire sentence made no sense. Ladies and gentlemen, before you assume we are uneducated or speaking incorrect English, let me introduce you to a linguistic marvel, a truly Malaysian version of English, Manglish. Manglish, a fusion of Malaysian languages and English, stands as a living testament to our shared history. It represents a linguistic melting pot that mirrors the harmonious coexistence of various ethnic groups in Malaysia. In our cultural heritage, Manglish emerges as a vibrant thread, interweaving the linguistic traditions of our Malay, Chinese, Indian, and indigenous communities. This unique blend of languages allows Malaysians to communicate efficiently and express emotion in ways only we truly understand. For instance, have you ever heard phrases like "Aiyo, 我有做在外哈" or "Faster lah"? The 四类的文啦 So simple, yet so expressive, adds emphasis and flavor to a statement. Other popular expressions include can you not, meaning is it possible? Why you do like that one? A sentence that mirrors Chinese syntax. Where one doesn't refer to a number, but has emphasis or emotion. To outsiders, this may sound strange, but to us, they feel completely natural. However, Manglish has long been a topic of debate. Some say that as unifying language that reflects our shared identity. Others dismiss it as broken English, fearing it may portray Malaysian as less competent in English. But what exactly is broken English? Broken English often involves incorrect grammar, such as I is going to school. English, on the other hand, follows its own internal rules. It is consistent, structured in its own way, and understood by Malaysians. Unfortunately, the decline in English proficiency over the years has blurred the lines between Manglish and broken English, leading to a widespread misconceptions. Ladies and gentlemen, let me emphasize, there is no absolute concept of standard English. English, in its essence, is internationally comprehensible English, with each region developing distinctive forms suited to its cultural and social context. Think Australian English, Singaporean English, Indian English, and yes, Malaysian English. As a former British colony, Malaysia has cultivated its own English, shaped by local history, culture, and languages, giving rise to the unique characteristics of Manglish. Today, Manglish is more than just a way of speaking. It is a reflection of our multicultural harmony, a symbol of unity, and often a source of humor that strengthens our identity and brings us closer
contestant ES29 represent the hour of new experience.
More test. Imagine standing at the edge of the diving board, staring down at the water below. Your heart races. Your mind fills with questions. What if I mess up? What if I don't belong here? But then, you take a deep breath, step forward, and dive in. Good morning, everyone. Stepping out of your comfort zone is a lot like that first time. Nerve-wracking at first, but exhilarating once you take the leap. I learned this firsthand when I attended a science camp, an experience that not only challenged me, but also shaped the way I see new opportunities. When I first signed up for the camp, excitement buzzed through me. I imagined days filled with experiments, discoveries, and fascinating lessons. But as the start date crept closer, my excitement turned into doubt. I don't know anyone there. What if I look fitting? Still, I paid my best and told myself, just go. See what happens. And I'm so glad I did. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever find yourself hesitating, stuck between fear and curiosity, my advice is simple. Choose curiosity. The moment I arrived at the camp, I realized I wasn't alone in my nervousness. I saw other campers scanning the room, some flitting with their bags, others glancing around uncertainly. As we struggled, we also adapted. One moment that truly stuck with me was the engineering challenge. Our task to build a structure strong enough to support weight using only limited materials. At first, chaos reigned. Some of us sketched blueprints, others dived straight into building, and a few of us just stood there, unsure where to begin. But as soon as we started working together, assembling circles, mixing chemicals, and debating scientific theories, something magical happened. The walls of hesitation crumbled and friendships formed. That's when I learned an important truth. You don't have to know everything. You just have to be willing to learn from those around you. So, here's my challenge to you. The next time an opportunity comes your way, whether it's joining a new club, signing up for a competition, or striking out a conversation with someone new, take it, say yes, and let yourself grow. Thank you.
Now contestant E30 with the end.
My task. A very good day to the honorable judges, teachers, and contestants. Today, I would like to share a speech entitled, The End. It seems like everything has an ending. Movies end, books end, school semesters end, and of course, life ends. We all grow up knowing that death is the final chapter, the full stop. But is that really the truth? Is death truly the end? Before I answer these questions, I want to share someone who shaped who I am today with all of you.
my father. He wasn't talkative, but he loved to be the family clown, telling silly jokes, taking ridiculous selfies from odd angles. It wasn't a loud comedy. It was his gentle way of saying, "Hey, don't be too serious. Life is meant to be smiled at." My father raised 6 daughters, but never asked anything in return, and his love was in every sacrifice. When we were sad, he didn't give us speeches. He made faces like ghosts and made us laugh. Even when lying in a hospital bed, weak and barely able to speak, he still managed a silly face, just to make us laugh. That was my father. He never said, "I love you," but we heard it anyway. When he passed away this year, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I still remember after the funeral, the house turned silent and empty. I sat alone in front of his photo. Memories came flooding back, and then one line from the movie Coco popped into my mind. Death is not the end, but forgetting is. That quote stuck with me because in that moment I realized my father may be gone, but every time I remember his goofy selfies, every time I made someone laugh just like he did, a piece of him lives on. Now that he's gone, I see it so clearly. His quiet love was louder than any words ever spoken. My dear audience, maybe you have lost someone too, or afraid of losing them someday, but don't fear death. Because as long as we remember, as long as we can read out love, share their stories, and smile when we think of them, they never truly leave us. That's what I'm doing now. That's why I'm standing here today, so my father can live on just a little longer, and all of you too. So, my friends, be brave and be open to loss. When someone you love leaves this world, don't just cry for them. Remember them. This is the end of my speech, but it's not the end of my father's story. Not the end of memory, not the end of love. Thank you.
Contestant ES31 will share "Yeah."
Mic test. Have you ever tried something and completely failed? Maybe you tried making chocolate muffins, but you ended up with choke a man muffins. Or you tried singing in front of your friends, but they politely suggested you stick to shower concerts. We've all been there. At that moment, you probably thought, I'm just terrible at this. But what if I told you that you are missing one tiny word? Good day, everyone. Today, I'd like to introduce you all a simple word that can change your perspective on challenges. Yet. That's right. You are not a terrible singer. You are just not a good singer yet. You are not bad at math. You just haven't mastered it yet. Feel the difference? When I was 8, I was selected to represent my school in a creative storytelling competition. I'd never done anything like it before, so I often struggled to develop stories within the time limit due to nervousness. And I thought, maybe I'm not good at this. But one day, my father told me, actually, you are not bad at storytelling. You just haven't found your way yet. His words ignited my confidence. Gradually, my anxiety faded away, and I won my first ever storytelling championship. So, how can we apply yet in our life? By telling ourselves 3 things. First, maybe you haven't tried hard enough yet. Remember the song Let It Go? The singer Idina Menzel was once rejected from record labels because they said her voice wasn't marketable enough. But did she stop? No. She trudged through the echoes of criticism and became the voice behind one of the most iconic songs in Disney history. Second, maybe you haven't learned from your mistake yet. Did you know that Steve Jobs was once fired from the very company he co-founded? His own leadership style caused conflict and led to his removal. But instead of giving up, he used his experience to grow. He founded new ventures, gained perspective, and returned to operate years later with a fresh vision. Today, his name is known as a symbol of innovation, proof that learning from mistakes can lead to an extraordinary comeback. Third, maybe you haven't practiced enough yet. Success isn't all about talent. It's about showing up, putting in effort, and being consistent until you become nearly perfect, if not perfect. Some will argue that we should take it easy. I refuse to believe that. I believe we have to aim for perfection to be the best of ourselves. Of course, with achievable little goals along the way. Yes, the word yet is small, but it is a key that unlocks potential, the bridge between failure and success, and a reminder that where you are now is not where you will always be. So my friends, when challenges come, when doubts creep in, and when the road ahead seems impossible, remember this. You are still learning, still growing, and still becoming. You are not there yet, but one day you will be. Keep going. Thank you.
Next contestant, ES32, will deliver more than just saying thanks.
Test mic. Hello everyone. Let me start by saying thank you. No, seriously, thank you for not checking your phones while I speak. That's already more attention than my cat gives me. So, I'm grateful. Today, I want to talk about something simple but powerful. Gratitude. Now, I know what you are thinking. Oh no, a speech about saying thank you. But hear me out. I promise I won't just list reason to say thank you like some kind of polite robot. Gratitude is not just about saying thanks like a reflex. It's about noticing the little things that make life better. Like when your teacher says, "No homework today," and you feel like hugging them, but instead you just nod like, "Cool." But inside, you are celebrating like you won a Grammy Award. Or when your friend shares fries and doesn't give you the tiny burnt ones. It's those everyday moments that we often take for granted. It's a small moment, those yes feelings, that we often forget to appreciate. Now, I will admit I didn't always understand gratitude. When I was younger, I used to think being grateful meant pretending to like gifts I didn't want. Wow, sucks! But now I have grown up. I realize it's not about the gift. It's about the thought behind it. Someone thought about you, spent time, money, or effort on you. That counts. Gratitude does not that it seems polite. It is just not good manners. It's good for you. Study shows that grateful people are happier, healthier, and sleep better. If gratitude were a medicine, pharmacies would be sold out. And the best part, it's free. You don't need money, Wi-Fi, or perfect grades to show it. So, here's my challenge. When someone holds the door, don't just mumble, thanks. Look them in the eyes and say it like you mean it. Tell your parents you are grateful for the dinner. Tell your teacher you appreciate them, especially if your grades need a little help. Because when you show gratitude, you brighten someone else's day, and weirdly enough, your own days get better too. So, let's start small. Let's start real. Let's start a gratitude revolution. One awkward thank you at a time. Thank you for listening, and yes, I'm truly grateful this speech is done now.
Please welcome contestant ES33, who will speak on chemistry in daily life.
My test. A very good afternoon to the esteemed judges, teachers, and my fellow friends. It is an honor to stand before you today to talk about a topic that profoundly influences every aspect, yet often goes unnoticed. Life is chemistry, and chemistry is life. Picture this: a group of researchers mixing different chemical compounds into a test tube created an explosion unexpectedly, and chaos are here and there. It's fun, isn't it? Chemistry, being often referred to as the central science, is a bridge that connects the physical sciences with the life sciences. While it might evoke images of bubbling test tubes or complex chemical equations, the truth is that chemistry is all around us, playing a crucial role in our everyday experiences. Let's take a closer look on how this fascinating subject shapes our world. First, let's talk about the food we eat. Every meal we consume is a chemical symphony. Cooking involves chemical reactions that transform raw ingredients into delicious dishes. For example, the Maillard reaction, which occurs when we roast coffee beans or bake bread, is responsible for those rich and complex flavors we love. The process of caramelization adds sweetness and depth to desserts. Even digestion is a marvel of chemistry, breaking down foods into nutrients that fuel our bodies. Moreover, food preservation techniques such as canning, freezing, and pasteurization are all grounded in chemistry. These methods help to extend shelf life and prevent food spoilage, ensuring that we have access to safe and nutritious meals year-round. Next, let's talk about the air we breathe. Every breath we take is a testimony to chemistry. The oxygen we inhale reacts with glucose in our cells through a process called cellular respiration, producing the energy we need to survive. This reaction not only sustains life, but also highlights the delicate balance of gases in our atmosphere. Understanding air composition and pollution control is essential for maintaining the balance of gases that sustain life. Air pollution caused by deforestation, industrial activities, and vehicle emissions
disrupts this balance. Chemistry plays a vital role in developing technologies in order to improve air quality and reduce harmful emissions, such as catalytic converters in cars and air purifiers in homes. Last, let's talk about healthcare and medicine. Modern medicine owes much of its progress to chemistry. Life-saving drugs, vaccines, and diagnostic tools are all products of extensive chemical research. Antibiotics like penicillin, painkillers like aspirin, and vaccines against diseases like COVID-19 highlights the indispensable role of chemistry in improving healthcare. Ladies and gentlemen, chemistry is not just a subject confined to laboratories. It is the foundation of life itself. From the moment we wake up to the time we go to bed, chemistry enriches our lives in countless ways. Hence, let us continue to explore and discover the wonders of chemistry, knowing that every discovery leads us to a more better, connected, and sustainable world. Thank you.
Please welcome contestant ES34 with the stray animal crisis in Malaysia.
Mr. Immanuel Kant once said, "We can judge the heart of a man by his treatment of animals." These words are more than a quote, they are a moral compass. They challenge us to look beyond ourselves and ask, who are we? When faced with the helpless and the voiceless. And today, here in Malaysia, that question has never been more urgent. A very good afternoon to the honorable panel of judges, respected teachers, fellow students, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ng Ziyu. Today, I stand before you not just to speak, but to urge for compassion, for justice, and for action, for those who cannot speak for themselves. Across Malaysia, thousands of stray animals wander our streets. Some are starving, some are wounded, many are scared. They don't choose this life. We humans create it by abandoning them, by failing to spay and neuter, by turning away instead of helping. Let me tell you a real story. On the 19th of March 2025 in Tawau, Sabah, a stray dog was found skinned alive, suffering from open wounds and broken bones. It was rushed to a clinic, where a veterinarian tried for 3 painful hours to save it, but he didn't make it. That wasn't just a dog, it was a life, brutally stolen. This is not an isolated case. In Penang, the Borbo shelter, home to over 700 dogs, is at risk of losing its land lease. Imagine hundreds of already set strays drawn back onto the streets through no fault of their own. And in places like Nora Indah, residents live in fear, not of their animals, but what inaction breed. Diseases like rabies and dogs growing aggressive from hunger and trauma. So, what are we doing wrong? We have mistaken control for cruelty. Capture and kill tactics doesn't work. Killing doesn't solve the issue, but cover it. Experts and animal NGOs all say the same. TNPR, trap, neuter, vaccinate, release is the only proven humane method to control stray populations over time. And what else? Education, awareness, responsible ownership. A dog is not a toy to discard. A cat is not a decoration. Pets are family forever. Don't look away when you see a stray. Don't cross the road and pretend that life doesn't matter. Offer food, donate to shelter. Adopt, don't shop, and teach your children kindness. Not just to humans, but to all living beings. Let us not build a country that turns its back on suffering. Let us build a Malaysia where kindness lives on every street corner, in every neighborhood, in every heart. With their voice, their hope, their second chance, because kindness starts with us. Thank you.
Please welcome ES35 with Live.
Good afternoon to the honorable judges, honored guests, and all my fellow friends. Today, I want to take a moment to reflect on the absurdity, the hilarity, and the downright wackiness of this roller coaster ride we are all strapped into. Life. Life is like a box of chocolate. As Forrest Gump famously said, you never know what you are going to get, and sometimes you end up with a dark chocolate when all you wanted was a milk chocolate. But hey, variety is the spice of life, right? Even if that spice occasionally tastes like regret. Now, let's talk about mornings. Whoever say the early bird catches the worm clearly never hit the snooze button 5 times in a row. Mornings are like a battleground where sleep-deprived warriors armed with coffee mugs and mismatched socks stumble their way through the day. And don't even get me started on Mondays. It is like the universe saying, hey, remember that thing you were dreading? Voila! So fresh with a generous garnish of uncertainty. But let's not dwell on the negatives. Life is also full of moments that make you laugh until your stomach hurts. Like trying to park in a space the size of a shoebox. Or accidentally sending a text to your boss that was meant for your best friend. Oops. And speaking of laughter, have you ever noticed how contagious it is? It is like a yawn, but way more fun. One person starts laughing and before you know it, the whole room is in stitches. It is like a superpower we all have, except instead of flying or shooting laser beams out of our eyes, we make weird noises and cry tears of joy. Let's talk about love. Love. The thing that makes the world go round and also the subject of 90% of the song. Crazy and keep you sane, often in the same sentence. They are the only ones who can insult you, feed you, and laugh with you all in one sitting. But amid the drama, questionable recipes, and advice nobody asked for, they are our lovable mess. And let's face it, we are probably just as weird, so it all evens out. Despite all the craziness, the chaos, and the occasional dark chocolate, life is pretty amazing, isn't it? It is a wild, unpredictable adventure filled with laughter, love, and the occasional crisis. So, let's raise a glass to this crazy, beautiful, ridiculous thing we call life. Here's to embracing the chaos, finding the humor in the absurdity, and never taking ourselves too seriously.
Perfect.
My test. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I stand before you to discuss a topic that resonates deeply with many people, including myself, have struggled with the pressure to be perfect. From childhood, we were taught to be cautious, polite, and to excel at everything effortlessly. We are expected to be perfect in every role. As children, professionals, partners, and beyond. But these impossible standards only limits our true potential. What if, instead of striving for perfection, we focus on being brave? Being brave means being willing to take risks, even when failure is the possibilities. Bravery is not the absence of fear, but the alchemy that turns trembling hands into unshakable resolve. Every revolution, scientific breakthrough, or social change began with someone's bravery, not their perfection. Let's be honest, perfection is an illusion. No one is perfect, and striving for it only holds us back. When we focus on perfection, we hesitate. We second guess ourselves. We become so afraid of making mistakes that we stop taking chances. But bravely pushes us forward. It reminds us that it is okay to stumble, to get up, and to try again. Think about the people who has inspired us throughout history. Were they perfect? Absolutely not. They were brave. They faced challenges head-on, made mistakes, yet never yielding. Malala and Rosa Parks became icons not through perfection, but by courageously standing for their beliefs against all odds. So, how can we, as teenagers, learn to be brave instead of perfect? First, we need to let go of the fear of failure. Failure is not the end. It is a stepping stone to success. Every mistake we make is an opportunity to learn, grow, and to become stronger. Second, we need to take risks. Whether it is pursuing that promotion, starting a business, or simply speaking up in a meeting, we must trust ourselves and take the lead. Finally, we need to support one another. When we lift each other up and encourage bravery over perfection, we create a culture where teenagers feel empowered to be themselves. Imperfect, yet unstoppable. In closing, I leave you with this thought. Being brave is far more powerful than being perfect. It allows us to dream big, live boldly, and change the world. So, let's choose to be brave, not perfect. The world needs us to be fearless, daring, and unapologetically ourselves. Thank you.
Please welcome ES37. with the unstoppable force celebrating the power of women.
Mic test. A very good afternoon to all my judges and teachers. Today, I would like to give a speech entitled Celebrating the Power of Women. The power of women is an undeniable force, shaping history and driving progress. For centuries, women have been the backbone of societies, supporting families, building communities, and profoundly influencing our world. Women have repeatedly proven their ability, often surpassing men. Their power is evident in all areas of life. Think of pioneers like Marie Curie, who broke the rules of science, or Rosa Parks, who was brave and initiated the fight for fairness. Michelle Yeoh, an outstanding woman from Malaysia, through her acting career, has not only gained global recognition, but also, with her tenacious spirit and exquisite martial arts performances, has become a role model for countless people. These stories and millions more showcase the incredible resilience and determination of women. Moreover, female students have the chance to actively challenge fixed ideas about gender by confidently participating in class discussions and excelling in fields traditionally dominated by men, such as science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They demonstrate that intellect and capability are not bound by gender. Their presence and achievements have dismantled old ways of thinking, proving that women are equally capable of contributing to and leading in all academic areas. In 2018, a rally against candid photography broke out in South Korea, and Korean women cut their long hair during speeches. A girl with a buzz cut shouted heartbreakingly, "My hair will grow back." But our sisters who left can't come back. As a woman, I respect their courage for speaking up for women and facing the issues of gender inequalities in today's societies fearlessly. They fight just to claim the rights that women deserve. In this era of turbulent wave, freedom is embodied by women. They can blossom, they can explore, and they can be free. We possess infinite possibilities, and we can shape the lives we desire according to our own will and dreams. In conclusion, the power of women is undeniable and should be celebrated. Women have proven time and time again that they can excel in any field they choose, and their unique perspectives and experiences can bring about positive change in the world. By empowering women and promoting gender equality, we can fully unleash their potential and create a more equitable and just society for all. Thank you.
Please welcome ES38 with senior body shaming, comment or devastate others.
Have you ever stood in front of a mirror and wished you looked different? Have you ever felt judged simply for being yourself? If so, you're not alone. Body shaming is everywhere, and it's time we talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, would any of these remarks make you feel good? You're not masculine enough. Your body's out of proportion. You eat way too much. These are just a few drops in a vast ocean of hurtful comments. Increasingly, people focus more on body shape instead of the person within. Appearance has become a yardstick, separating the so-called angels from the so-called outcasts. As social media claims more of our lives, its virtual language seems to grant us permission to judge others' look without restraint. Body shaming isn't new, yet the internet amplifies it. Words dripping with disdain, ridicule, or mockery over someone's appearance. Even a joke like, "Hey, you've gained weight," can cut deeply. Yes, we all enjoy freedom of expression, but freedom should never become a shield for sarcasm or cruelty. Opinions are worth sharing only when they help someone grow, not when they wound or tear them down. Body shaming is painful and must never be tolerated. If anyone listening has endured it, I understand. I was mocked for being fat in primary school, and countless others shared that mental, emotional, and physical hurt. Living through a pandemic reminded me that life is meant to be celebrated and enjoyed. Remember always, you are far more than your body. Your mind, talents, character, experiences, and personality forms an extraordinary mosaic that is uniquely you. Online, victims are pushed into an invisible arena surrounded by strangers eager to criticize and demean. Body shaming can be as harmful as a slow, invisible attack. When despair grows overwhelming, some may see death as the only escape. Is that a fair price to pay for having the wrong shape or features? No one chooses to be flawed, and every victim is still a human being who longs to be accepted and loved. Just step into their shoes. Let's understand, empathize, offer guidance that truly helps, and start celebrating everybody's differences. Never forget, every strength you possess, every flaw you embrace, every lesson you learn, that makes you irreplaceable. Always remember how beautiful and unique you are. Thank you.
Please welcome ES39 with Why Should Onion Simon?
A very good afternoon to the honorable judges, teachers, and friends. Quick show of hands. How many of you think you're an onion? Oh, some of you? Interesting. But to those who don't, what if I told you that maybe you just don't know it yet? Because the way I see it, we're all onions. It was right after my 16th birthday when I realized that I was born. Strange, right? What bizarre thoughts led to that? Well, allow me to tell you the tale of how I watched a Disney movie on my 16th birthday. Sounds relating, right? Right? Wrong! Because while I was watching it, I wasn't even present. I was worrying about a project due next week. Would it affect my GPA, my career, my life? What do I even want to do with my life? And suddenly, I'm 16 and spiraling. That year, I became consumed by those thoughts. I felt horror fill my mind and heart. Taking a break felt wrong. Spending time with my loved one felt like time wasted. I became too focused on the big picture and ignored everything else.
quit hobbies, said no to joy. I blocked all the colors from my heart. Then came the meltdown. It was the morning after my birthday. I was dicing onions for breakfast when I started crying. My heart became heavy. Something pressed my mind. Was it the onions? Or was it the crushing realization that I was so focused on chasing time? I forgot to live and eat. You see, I've always been someone who loves the little things. Reading a book page by page, soaking in conversations, and observing the world quietly. But I had deprived myself of that. And in that moment of motionlessness, I realized I am an onion. Do you know how onions grow? They don't shed layers. They build them, one over another. And each new layer is made by countless tiny cells growing underneath. Just like us. I am my layers, built from every moment and every memory. I'm almost 17 now, but I carry 16 and 15 within me. That's why we are all onions. We don't become who we are by chasing milestones. Instead, we grow through everyday moments. We are built by the things we think are small. So I urge you, simmer in the moments. Yes, the future can feel overwhelming, but we'll get there, one step, one day at a time. Time won't wait, so live now. Take breaks, laugh with your friends, explore new horizons and smell the roses. Let go of all the negativities. Grow into the juiciest, the most layer-filled onion the world has ever seen. Make your life colorful, and along the way, paint the lives of others with your bright colors. And to borrow a line from Soul, the Disney movie I watched on my 16th, you might not know your purpose yet, but please make sure to live every minute of your life. Thank you.
Welcome ES40 with digital amnesia. Are we losing our ability to remember?
My test. Good afternoon, everyone. Albert Einstein once said, never memorize something that you can look up. But in today's world, we rely so much on technology that we barely remember anything at all. Phone numbers, birthday, directions, even simple facts are stored in our devices instead of our minds. Scientists call this digital amnesia, a growing problem where people forget information because they depend on technology to remember for them. Our smartphones have become our second brains. Instead of memorizing schedule, we set reminders. Instead of recording links, we check our contact list. Well, this may not convenient. It also weakens our natural memory. Just a few decades ago, people could remember dozens of phone numbers. Now, most of us don't even know our best friend's numbers by heart. The more we outsource our memory to technology, the less we use our brains. Studies show that over-reliance on devices can slow down cognitive function. Our brains are like muscles. If we don't exercise them, they become weaker. As the old saying goes, use it or lose it. Memory is a skill that needs constant practice. But with technology doing all the work we are slowly losing the ability. Even worse, we are becoming less attentive. Because we know information is always available online, we don't focus on learning it. This affects student professional and even everyday conversation. How often do we Google something only to forget it a second later? In the words of Socrates, learning is remembering. If we are no longer making an effort to remember, what are we truly learning? Moreover, the habit of reaching for our device as the slightest need is shaping a culture of impatience and distraction. A stitch in time saves 9, they say, and training our minds to remember details can save us from time-wasting loop of repeatedly searching for the same information. It builds discipline, strengthens concentration, and nurtures true understanding rather than shallow knowledge. So, how can we fight digital amnesia? We can start by actively memorizing important details using mental exercises and limiting our dependence on technology. Reading books, playing memory game, and practicing recall technique can help keep our brain sharp. Setting small daily challenges like memorizing a short poem, recalling the day events, or learning a few new facts without writing them down can go a long way. Technology should assist us, not replace our ability to think and remember. As the Chinese proverb says, the palace ink is better than the best memory. But even then, a sharp mind remains priceless. Let's use our tools wisely, preserving the one of the most powerful ability we have, the ability to remember. Thank you.
We will now have a 5-minute short break and we'll continue our competition at 5:15. Thank you. We will continue our competition shortly. Now, please ES 41 with I think, therefore I am.
A thought is like a stone thrown into the ocean. It may seem like nothing, but do you know how deep that stone goes? A very good evening to the honorable judges, teachers, guests, and members of the floor. I think, therefore I am. That's the topic of my speech today. The 17th century philosopher René Descartes once said, "The only thing we have power over in the universe is our own thoughts. We control our thoughts, and our thoughts control us. They play a crucial role in shaping our reality. Every invention, every piece of art, every revolution, every act of courage, it all started as a single thought. Let's look to the greats. From Martin Luther King Jr.'s thought of equality to Steve Jobs' vision of the iPhone. A whisper in someone's mind. And then, that thought became action. That action became change. That change became history." Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure everyone out there has felt a moment of hopelessness before. When we feel everything we've built come crumbling down like a house of cards. But it is in these moments of despair that the mind, our thoughts, can either lift us or bury us. We are not defined by our circumstances, rather by how we respond to them. And it all starts with a single thought, a shift in perspective. You see, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. That little voice in your head, it's more powerful than you think. If you tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," you start to believe it. You act on it. You shrink. You hesitate. But when you shift that thought to "I've got this. It is possible," you stand taller. You speak louder. You try harder. Members of the floor, in our daily lives, we are constantly bombarded with stimuli. News, social media, opinions, judgments. Think about it for a moment. How often do we let the noise around us dictate our own thoughts? How often do we take the opinions of others and let them shape how we see ourselves? We are the architects of our own thoughts, and in that power lies the ability to transform not just the world, but ourselves. Does a farmer feel glad when his seeds are choked by thorny brambles? No. Instead, he cuts off the thorns so that the plants may grow well. Similarly, we too should cut off the negativity in order to grow to the sky. dear audience, the mind is a powerful force, and we hold the power to control it. The seeds you nurture today will be the fruits you see tomorrow. You may choose to embrace positivity, or you may choose to embrace negativity. But one thing is for sure, you will always have the power to choose. Remember, what you think, you become. Thank you.
Please welcome ES42 with what defines a champion.
My test. Good morning to the judges, teachers, and students. What makes a champion? Is it a gold medal, a loud applause, a shiny trophy, or is it a quiet moment when no one is watching? When the students lends a hand, admits a mistake, or stand up for a friend. Being a champion isn't just about winning. It is about living with value. It is about grit, growth, and giving your best even when no one claps. Champions are made in classroom, not stadium. They are shaped by effort, no ego. They choose hard work over shortcuts, kindness over popularity. Do you give up when you fail? Do you rise and try again? That's what defines you. Do you blame others or own your action? Do you gossip or guide? Do you wait for change or become the change? You don't need a medal to be a champion. You just need courage to do what's right, again and again. So today, I ask you, what kind of champion do you want to be? Let your speech be your kindness. Let your legacy be your values. That is the champion our world truly needs. So that I end my speech. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. From Winston Churchill. Thank you.
Please welcome ES43 with Who Am I?
My test. When I was 5, I thought I was a superhero. By 10, I wanted to be a teacher. And now, I'm not quite sure. Strange, isn't it? How a question as simple as who am I becomes more puzzling the older we get. Good afternoon to the honorable judges, respected teachers, and dear friends. In different parts of life, we wear different masks. At home, we are expected to be obedient sons and daughters. I remember when I got tired from school, but still had to smile and to be polite at the dinner table, because that's what a good child does. At school, we are supposed to be polite and hardworking students. Even when I feel overwhelmed, I forced myself to keep up, because I didn't want to disappoint my teachers. With friends, we want to be fun, cool, and easy to be around. I once laughed at a joke I didn't even think was funny, just to fit in. And sometimes we play all these jokes so well, then we forget to ask, is this really me? There were times I felt lost. Not because I didn't have dreams, but because I didn't know which voice was truly mine. I tried to please everyone, my parents, my teachers, my friends. And in doing so, I forgot to ask myself, what do I want to be? Who do I want to become? And maybe you have felt this way too. Maybe you have sat quietly in your room and thinking, am I just a collection of roles that others expect me to play? If so, let me tell you something important. It's okay not to have all the answers yet, because discovering who you are is not about choosing one fixed label. It's about growing, changing, and learning to be honest with yourself. We are not born and knowing who we are. We become ourselves day by day through the choices we make, the values we hold, and the courage we show to be real, even when it's difficult. There was one moment I still remember. I stood up for something I believe in, even though it made me unpopular. It was painful, but for the first time, I felt like I was listening to my voice. So, who am I? I'm work in progress. I'm someone learning to stop living for everyone's expectations and start living with purpose. I am not perfect. I am not finished. But I am becoming someone I'm proud of. And maybe, just maybe, it's the best answer I can give. Thank you.
Please welcome ES44 with The Price of Happiness.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, my topic is the price of happiness. First, let me start with my confession. Last week, I posted a selfie. After 10 minutes, it had only 3 likes. One from my mom, one from my cousin, and one from a random account selling fake sunglasses. Naturally, I did what any modern human would do. I deleted it. Because if nobody likes it, does my face even exist? We live in an age where our self-worth feels like it's measured in numbers on a screen. 100 likes, wow, I am a superstar. 10 likes, maybe I'm just average. 0 likes, that's it. I'm moving to the mountains to rest God. But, seriously, what's the real price we pay for chasing likes and followers? We spend hours trying to get the perfect photo, best angle, best lighting, best filter, and then spend the next 3 hours refreshing our phones. Did someone like it? Did my crush see it? Why hasn't anyone commented yet? And don't even get me started on follower. Some people cry if they lose just 1 follower, as if that one stranger unfollowing them means you are officially not popular now. Meanwhile, real life is happening around us. The sun is setting, friends are laughing, your ice cream is melting. But you don't care or notice because you are too busy editing a selfie. So, why do we do this to ourselves? We scroll through social media and forget one truth. It's not real life. It's a highlight reel, a carefully curated version of reality. Nobody posts a picture of themselves sobbing because their Wi-Fi crashed during Netflix. Nobody uploads a video of themselves failing an exam or having a bad hair day. Instead, we see perfect vacations, perfect meals, perfect smiles. And then we look at our own life. We feel like losers. But here's the truth. Social media is just a stage. Everyone is in costume. Everyone's putting on the show. But what we don't see is the messy backstage. So, what's the real price of happiness? It's not in likes. It's not in shares. It's not in followers. The real happiness is found offline. It's unfiltered. It's in the little moment you don't need to post because they are already perfect for you. So next time you are about to post something, remember, don't ask, will they like it? Ask, do I like it? Because at the end of the day, that's the only like that really, really, really matters. Thank you.
Please welcome ES45 with I hope you'll never find what you're looking for.
Mic testing. Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you with a wish that might sound cruel, maybe even a little insane. I hope you never find what you're looking for. Now, before you decide I'm speaking nonsense, hear me out. We grow up with dreams and we treat them like a perfect life plan. Get straight A's in SPM, study in Harvard, be a doctor, buy a Tesla by 30, and of course, get married before the aunties start asking too many questions at Chinese New Year. It's like we think life is a formula. Follow the plan and happiness is guaranteed. We try so hard to reach the destination, only to find another waiting. A bigger job title, a better house, a flashier car. I was a golden child who used to chase success. I made the grades, I won the awards, and the smile, polished to perfection. It deserved an Oscar. Even when I was falling apart inside. Until someone asked me, is this truly what you want? And that's when I suddenly wondered. I am not living the life that I want. This is not a life that I wanted to live. I am not living. I was performing. The more I chased perfection, the further I ran for myself. How long have you been sprinting towards goals that were never truly yours? How long have you been forgetting what you loved the most was sketching superheroes at the back of your textbook, but chose engineering instead because there's no future in drawing? When was the last time you did something just because you loved it? We've been told to be practical, to choose the smart, safe path, the path that has been tested by thousands silent. But he chose to stand up because he refused to live in a world where people were judged by the color of their skin. He refused to live a life that wasn't his. For that, he spent 27 years in prison. He is South Africa's first black president, Nelson Mandela. He proved that a meaningful life isn't built by following someone else's map, but drawing your own. So, be the one who loves too loudly, dreams too wildly, and lives too boldly. Not to please anyone else, but simply because it makes you feel alive. So, to those still searching for that ideal life, perfect career, flawless body, I hope you never find what you're looking for. Unless what you're looking for is you. Thank you.
Please welcome ES46 with The World Doesn't Care About Your Efforts.
That's mine. If you try your best, will you definitely succeed? Wait, don't answer just yet. Think about it twice. From a young age, we've been told countless inspiring stories about success. The classic example, the hare takes the nails, and the tortoise wins. Really? In a real world, the tortoise wouldn't stand a chance. And then there's the tale of the ugly duckling. In real life, it freezes in the winter, and ugly stays ugly. I'm not trying to be cynical or dramatic. I'm simply being honest. Because as I've grown up, I've realized something. Life doesn't follow the script you imagine. Sometimes you, my friend, you try to be anyone else, and you still fail. Honorable judges and my friends, let me share a real story. I'm a long-distance runner. Last year, I lost in an important cross-country race. That failure haunted me. So, this year, I had a question burning my mind. If I gave it my all, would I find this success? So, I trained hard. I ran 30 kilometers every week. Same route, same shoes, day after day. You think that kind of discipline will lead to success, right? It didn't. My muscles became inflamed. My knees ached. The world doesn't care about effort. Among 300 runners, only 30 will qualify. As the race began, my knees started creaking. But I kept running. It was manageable until I reached the hill. The hill was a vertical nightmare, slippery, dangerous. At that moment, I didn't just want to stop. I wanted to quit. All together, go home, take a shower, and drink a Coke. But I couldn't leave because I must win. In the final stretch, my calf cramped severely, but I pushed forward. I dragged my leg, I leaned, I ran, and I finished the race. I won. If this were a fairy tale, I didn't win. Even after all that pain, effort, and determination, I still failed. And yes, it hurts a lot, but that's the world we live in. It's harsh, it's unfair, but it's reality. So, what can we do? Maybe what we can learn is to face failure with grace. Yes, the world doesn't care about your effort, but so what? Maybe we fail again, maybe we fail again. But we will grow, right? We
talk to the version of me who was in pain. I learned to face the fear of not being good enough. Life is not smooth sailing. That's why we must learn to fail with courage and rise with power. So, back to the question you asked me. Will I definitely succeed? Probably not. But I'm sure I will enjoy the journey. Thank you. Thank you.
Please welcome ES47 with Rethinking Motivation.
Good afternoon, honorable judges, teachers, and friends. Imagine this. I hand you 3 items: a candle, a box of thumbtacks, and matches. Your challenge: attach the candle to a wall so that the wax doesn't drip onto the table. Now, think about it. How would you solve it? Try thumbtacking the candle directly to the wall. Doesn't work. Melt the wax and stick it to the wall. Creative, but nope. The solution: overcome something called functional fixedness. It is a mental block that keeps us from seeing things differently. So, you take the box that holds the thumbtack, take that to the wall, place the candle inside, boom! A wall-mounted candle holder! This experiment was conducted by a scientist 60 years ago. But here's the twist. He split the participants into 2 groups. One group was told, this is just for research, we are timing you. The other group was offered a monetary reward. So, who performed better? Hey, shouldn't the group with the money, right? Wrong. The group with the reward took 3.5 minutes longer on average. That makes no sense, right? If you want people to perform better, you reward them. But this result has been replicated over and over again for 40 years. Science has proven that when tasks require creativity and external motivations, like money and prizes, it can push us, but not inspire us. Yet, many schools, workplaces, and even families still rely on the old carrot and stick routine. Do this, get that, hey, don't do this, face the consequences. But real life problems in the 21st century rarely come with clear rules or one right answer. Ask yourself, do the problem you face have a clear solution? Most of the time, they don't. That's why today's word creativity, curiosity, and self-direction matter more than ever. So, what does work? Let me tell you about an Australian software company. Every few months, they run Shiggy Days. For 24 hours, engineers can work on anything they want. No instruction, just freedom. And guess what? That one day of complete autonomy has produced countless fixes and ideas that have transformed their software. Why? Because when we are driven by purpose, not pressure, we create magic. Think about the moment that you felt most alive in your learning. Maybe it was a challenge you set for yourself, or an idea that lit a spark in your mind. That's intrinsic motivation, and it's powerful. The truth is, when it's meaningful, we don't need to be pushed. We lead ourselves. We are not here to just tick boxes. We are leaders in the making. Whether you're 17 or 47, do it because it matters to you. Stop asking, what do I get from this? And start asking, what change can I make with this? We won't just succeed. We will transform the world. Thank you.
Please welcome ES48 with The Countdown We Don't Want.
Mic test. I want you all to imagine this. Somewhere in the world, a clock just started ticking. no one sees it coming. I'm a student just like you, and I know exactly what it feels like to be overwhelmed. I juggle competitions, exams, debates, and tests. And everyone thinks I'm perfect because I'm always on stage, always performing. But here's the thing. Even I felt like I was barely holding it together sometimes. And once I realized that, I started paying attention to the people around me. Because if I, someone who seems okay, can feel like I'm drowning silently, then how many others are suffering in complete and total silence? 90 seconds. I remember my brother coming up to me and saying, "Zie, my friends must have magic powers. They touched me once and I topple over." He kept repeating this until I finally asked him, "Slow down. What do you mean?" Turns out, in his own innocent way, 5 big kids at his school had been beating him for weeks. And I would have never understood if I hadn't bothered to look beneath the surface. Thankfully, with help from adults, the bullying stopped, and my brother could finally smile again, because this time, I chose to care. I believe that in that moment, my brother had a small ticking countdown in his head, and I can't even fathom to imagine what would happen if I wasn't there to stop it. 3, 2, 1. According to the World Health Organization, every 120 seconds, someone in the world takes their own life. That means for someone, somewhere, they just ran out of time. But someone else didn't, because someone like you cared enough to notice. What I mean is, it doesn't take a superhero to save a life. It only takes you and me. So, what can we, as students, actually do? Let me tell you a story. In America, a city called Provo, to battle the sky-high suicide rates, they recruited a group of students and called them the Hope Squad. Together, the Hope Squad made sure that none of their students had to suffer alone again. These students caused a massive chain reaction. Schools, parents, local communities started coming together under one mission: to never again let a teenager feel unseen. Suicide rates plummeted, all because some normal people came together and decided that they care. So where does that lead us? Everywhere. Our country is in desperate need of a Hope Squad. So let's stop being afraid to ask the real questions. Let's stop being afraid to care. And let's start standing up before it is too late. Stop the countdown before it hits 0. Thank you.
Please welcome ES49 with Beyond Being an Influencer.
Mic test, mic test. Just last week, my friend asked me, "You joined a speech competition? Boring. Why not be a TikToker instead? You would be famous." The room laughed. I smiled. But inside, a question echoed. Have we started valuing followers more than our own voices? Think about it. Today, a 10-second dance video gets more attention than a 4-minute idea. In a world obsessed with trends, here I am, choosing for influence, not for likes, not for fame, but for something we are slowly forgetting. A difference.
Good evening to the respected chairperson, honorable judges, principals, teachers, and members of the school. Today, let's talk about beyond being an influencer. Let's be honest, how many of us have tried to act like influencers, whether it's perfecting our TikTok transitions or posting a class trip vlog that gets, 10, perhaps 20 views? It's something that we've all done before. But here's the real question. What is beyond the fame and notice? First, let's talk about leadership. A true influencer isn't defined by numbers, but by the ability to lead by example and stand firm for what they believe in. Think about Malaysian figures like Carol Amin, who turned his love for food into a movement inspiring young Malaysians to cook. Tenacious Malaysian YouTuber 3P, who brought Malaysian culture to the world stage with the remarkable and catchy music. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is influencing. And let's not forget our Maci Bawang on Facebook, championing community causes, sometimes unintentionally, yet still meaningful. Next, there's responsibility. Every word, every caption, and every story carries a weight. This is not only just a privilege, but it's also a duty to share positivity, to spread awareness, and to avoid harm to others. When you're promoting something, promote things that actually help, not just things that sell. Because influence without integrity is just noise. Finally, it is about upholding the legacy. In 10 or 20 years, people will be asking questions like, did you inspire others to dream bigger? Did you stand up for what is right? Now you might ask, will people remember my Instagram reel about my matcha tea aesthetic? But perhaps so. But we will definitely remember those who use their voice to educate, to inspire, and to unite. To all aspiring influencers out there, be someone who inspires, not just someone who is admired. Be someone who leads with integrity, not just someone who deceives with duplicity. Because all in all, being an influencer isn't just about being seen. It is about making a difference. Thank you.
Please welcome ES15 with Like Jenny.
Like Jenny, special edition and your AI couldn't copy. This is my favorite line from a pop song called Like Jenny. It's about being one of a kind, about having something so unique, so real, that no machine, no trend, and no copycat could ever recreate it. Good morning to the honorable judges, timekeeper, teachers, and all my fellow friends. The title of my speech today is Like Jenny. We live in a world where everything moves fast. One moment, a certain fashion, a certain song, or a certain idea is trending. The next, something new takes over. And in the middle of it all, it is easy to feel like we have to follow the crowd, just to be seen, just to matter. But let me ask you something. How many trend followers do you actually remember? When you think about the biggest icons, the game changer, and the people who truly inspired us, they didn't just follow the trend, they created. And that's why Jenny is Jenny. She's not just another artist, she's an original. She never following the trend. she created. And you had the same power inside you. What is the easiest thing to do in life? Copy. What is the hardest yet most rewarding? Create. See, when you create something that comes from your heart, it reflects who you truly are. That's when you stand out. That's when people remember you. So, how do we make sure we are that special edition and not just another copy? First, be inspired by making your own. Inspiration is amazing. We all have people we look up to. But don't just copy. Take what inspires you at your own taste. Make it yours. Number 2, trust your voice. Some of the best ideas didn't fit into what's trending. That's a good thing. The best artists, the best inventors, and the best leader, they didn't just follow the trend. They created. And number 3, be patient with your creativity. Great things takes time. Give yourself some space to grow, to experiment, to fail, and come back even stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, people don't remember the one who played it safe. They remember the one who took risks, who experimented, who created something new, something real. And you have something inside you that no one else in the world has. It can be a perspective, a vision, or a dream. So go out there, dream big, create boldly, and show the world what it truly means to be like Jenny. Thank you.
Please welcome ES51 with the power of unshakable.
Mic test, mic test. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt small? Like your voice didn't matter. Your dreams were too big. Or your struggles were too silent to be noticed. If you have ever felt that way, you are not alone. But here's the real question. What's truly stopping you from rising, speaking, and being heard? Let me tell you about 2 people who face that same silence but refuse to stay quiet. First, Kobe Bryant. We all know him as a basketball legend, but what made Kobe powerful wasn't just his skills. It was the way he spoke, without saying a word. Through discipline, through focus, through what he called the Mamba mentality. In 2013, he tore his Achilles tendon. Most would collapse in pain. But Kobe? He stood up, he walked to the free throw line, and he scored. That moment said loud and clear, I'm not done. I don't quit. I speak through persistence. Now let's talk about Steve Jobs. Yes, the genius behind Apple. But also, a man who was once fired for the very company he built. Most people have disappeared. But Steve didn't. He came back stronger, he rebuilt Apple and changed the world. He once said, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. And he lived it. Kobe and Steve, 2 different paths, but they had one thing in common. Unshakable belief in themselves. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't ask, am I good enough? They showed up. They kept going. They let their actions do the talking. And you know what? Now it's your turn. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to believe that your voice matters. To rise doesn't mean shouting louder. It means standing taller. To speak doesn't mean talking non-stop. It means saying what's true, even when it's hard. So, if the world tells you to sit down, stand up. If people say your dream is too big, believe harder. If your voice shakes when you speak, speak anyway. Because someone out there is waiting to hear your story, and that someone might be you. So today, I challenge you. Rise, speak, believe. Like Kobe, like Steve. And most importantly, like you. Because your story isn't over. Thank you.
Please welcome ES52 with the Phoenix Effect.
Mic test.
Who here has ever felt like they were stuck? Like they hit pause on their dreams? We've all been there. But here's the thing. What if those pause moments were actually power-up moments? A warm welcome to the honorable judges, teachers, and my fellow friends. Picture your life as a video game. You level up by facing challenges, right? You don't just magically get stronger. You get knocked down, you learn from your mistakes, and then you come back with a new strategy, a new skill. That, my friends, is the Phoenix Effect in action. Okay, real talk. I tried out for the school play last year. I was convinced I was going to be the star. Spoiler alert. I was cast as a tree. Yes, a tree. But instead of sulking, I decided to become the best tree that anyone had ever seen. I learned about stage presence, projection, and even how to make my leaves rustle convincingly. And guess what? This year, I've got a speaking role. That tree experience was my Phoenix moment. What if we stopped seeing setbacks as failures and started seeing them as opportunities? What if we embraced the burn and used it to fuel our growth? What if we knew that we have the chance to rise even stronger? We are the future. We have dreams, passions, and goals. But the path to success isn't always smooth. There'll be bumps, detours, and even roadblocks. But remember, those challenges are just opportunities to unleash your inner phoenix. Imagine your inner phoenix. Feel that fire, that determination, that resilience. Let it burn away your doubts and fears. Let it fuel your passion and drive. The Phoenix Effect isn't just about individual success. It's about building resilience. It's about knowing that even when things get tough, we have the ability to overcome challenges. We need to encourage each other to keep trying, to learn from our experiences, and to never give up on our goals. As students, we need to create a school environment where it's okay to make mistakes, where we celebrate effort and growth, and where we support each other through difficult times.
we need to know that a setback doesn't define us, it refines us. Because as the Japanese proverb goes, nanagorobi yaoki, which means fall 7 times, stand up 8. So, let's rise together. Let's transform obstacles into stepping stones, failures into fuel, and setbacks into comebacks. Let's face our challenges with courage, learn from our experiences with wisdom, and rise with renewed strength. Let's be the generation that knows how to rise, not just once, but every time we fall. Because my friends, that fire that threatens to consume us is the same fire that makes us unstoppable. This is the Phoenix Effect. Thank you.
Finally, please welcome ES 55 with Am I Still Not Good Enough?
I sat on the edge of my bed at 3 a.m. I swollen from crying, replaying every mistake like a cruel highlight reel. I thought I had crossed the T's and dotted the I's when I performed that piano piece during the competition. Still, I came in 3rd place. And the question that haunted me in the middle of the night was, am I still not good enough? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the question that kept me pondering. That question didn't just come once. It echoed in my mind for years, a quiet whisper that turned into a roar every time I stumbled. Maybe you've heard it too. That voice that creeps in whenever you fail. I'm a perfectionist, not because I want everything flawless, but because I fear what it means if it's not. I strive, I grind, I sacrifice sleep, peace, even joy, all in the name of trying to not be a disappointment. I used to believe that if I don't succeed, I don't deserve to feel proud. And the heartbreaking part is, I thought that was normal. We've been taught to believe that failure makes us unworthy, that success is the answer to everything, that if we just get enough recognitions, enough titles, enough achievements, we'll finally be good enough. But that's a lie. I've learned that true worth is not found in the things you do, but in who you are, in the simple, undeniable fact that we exist, that we are human, and that in itself is enough. Because here's the truth I wish I knew sooner. I'm not my achievements, I'm not my failures. I am my own being, and so are you. Since then, I stopped beating myself up. I stopped seeking validation from sources that will never give me the peace I need. I stopped measuring myself according to someone else's standard of success. Instead, I learned to measure my worth by something far deeper. By the simple fact that I am here. By the courage it takes to keep going even when I don't win. By the love I give, not only to others, but to myself. Because love, not perfection, is the foundation of worth. We don't need to prove we are good enough. We are enough because we exist. Today, I choose to forgive myself, to see not my flaws, but my resilience. To say I'm worthy of love, of peace, of compassion, no matter what. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear this. Your worth is not in what you do, it's in who you are.
And that is always, always enough. So the next time you fail and feel the urge to pick yourself up, don't ask, am I still not good enough? Instead, start declaring, I am enough. Not because of what I do, but because of who I am. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, we would like to invite the chairman of the competition committee, JP Law and John, to present the certificate of appreciation to our esteemed judges.